Welcome to another edition of Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Tim Towle. Of course, Coach Cheatham's with us. I'm sitting by the host, BKP, Jake West, Sports Director, Team FYN Sports. I'm already in trouble.
You said 3 times for me to get in here. You told me 3 times. I said I have to be invited, but it wasn't hard to get me in.
No.
And you just didn't want me yelling questions from over there.
Yeah, get in here.
You know what's going to happen.
You're in
Take
here.
it away, buddy.
A special night for the Rebels last Saturday night. Game was played on Saturday, not Friday. Fannin County got its first playoff victory since 1995 for the Rebels. 28-21 come-from-behind victory over Pace Academy. All three of us were there. It was a special night in Blue Ridge, Coach. I know the victory meant a lot to you and the program. Just talk about the game first off, Coach. Of course, we got down. It was a come-from-behind victory. Pace jumped on the board first. We were tied at halftime. Then they put 14 points up in the third quarter. We're down 21-7. The guys never gave up.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. The big takeaway from it is, I think I was talking to BKP today. I've talked to several media groups, but just the fact, the maturity of this team, and the fact that I don't think there was ever any doubt on our sideline. I was on the radio with somebody today, and I remember last year Jackson Weeks telling me at a game when we were down and it was like 2.5 minutes left. He said, "Coach, we're going to win the football game," and that's the kind of the mentality that we've grown over the past 3 years, is that no matter what the scoreboard says, no matter where we're at, we feel like we've got a chance to be competitive and to win the football game. And BKP asked earlier today, how's the team, how's the attitude, how's everybody feeling, and this is a blue collar group that's really a real business-like. We get very emotional and excited on Friday, and we play that way. But during the week, it's all about preparation, so as opposed to teams in the past, where there's a lot of hype and I wouldn't say yelling, but motivational type stuff coming from me. We do a lot more chess match type stuff on Monday through Wednesday, and we were physical today, and we needed to be, but we spent 2 days really with the X's and O's part, trying to nail down exactly where we needed to be, things that we needed to do to be successful against this Heard County football team, who's extremely good. They're extremely big. Offensively, they can give us a lot of problems. Defensively, they can give us a lot of problems. So a lot of it's mental, but today was a lot of physical.
It was a very good game for the Rebels. Just some statistics right here. Luke Holloway had a big day, 358 total yards, 171 through the air, and 187 rushing. Seth Reese had a very good game on the ground, 22 rushes, 151 yards. And Cahuta, Jalen also had a big day receiving. But talk about the offense and, talk about the emergence of Seth Reese the past few weeks.
Yeah, in order to talk about the offense, I think you got to talk a little bit about the defense at first. They kept us in the game.
Absolutely.
For the first 2 quarters. It could have been a lot worse. We couldn't switch the field. And Luke generally does a great job punting the football. We had 3 punts that averaged about 25 yards, and we couldn't switch the field, so it put our defense defending a short field for most of the first half. And we were lucky to get to come out at halftime exactly the way we did. But offensively, we knew they were athletic in the back end, and we knew that they were athletic and big up front, and we were going to have to find a way, and sometimes that takes a search. You have a couple of plans, you go in and you script your first 10 plays, and you formation people, and you see how they're going to line up, and a lot of times when you do that, you don't look like you're being successful from the stands. But what you're doing is you're learning your opponent on the fly, and then you start to put those pieces together from up top and from what you're getting from the kids, as we talked about today, and you start to put the puzzle together. And we understood that they were going to do whatever it took to take away the big ball in the pass game. Although we got high early, after that we felt like they were really going to sit back and cover us, double team us, bracket us. Jalen, they put two bodies on him at times. They put two bodies on Hyde at times. So on Kahutta, and it opened us up in the second half to run the football because they had to spread out a little bit to cover us. And then we were able to go fast, which is something they hadn't seen. And I think they got tired. I could tell they were having trouble lining up, and we were going. It wasn't anything fancy. We were running the same play, same thing right after the other. It was just the fact we were snapping it with about, as soon as they spotted the ball, we were snapping the football. We were trying to get the officials out of the way so that we could snap it, because they were trying to catch our breath.
Yeah, and you can tell we were the more conditioned team Friday night. I think as the game went on, it just like you said, up tempo, but pace was really wearing down throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think that we do a good job of conditioning in practice. Our practices are pretty tempo-paced in our drill work. Our coaches do an outstanding job. When we're drilling, although we are working mentally, we are physically training also, training the body for the game, and that's a credit to them. I like to be short periods that are very fast in practice, and we're not going to linger in those periods. We're going to stay with that 10-minute frame, but in that 10 minutes, it's work, tempo.
Coach, let me ask you something here. You said something a minute ago, and I was on the sideline, and I thought that, I didn't ask you before the game, but I thought that I said, he's running a script, and the guys up top are paying attention. You're paying attention on the sideline, your staff. What I was most impressed with is those first couple times that time out, the information that was coming from up top to you guys, but the guys that were coming off the field was bringing back information also. So it was a three-part, and I said, this guy's running a script, and in about 10 or 12 plays, they're going to know which guy's pulling left, which guy is stepping back before he steps right. You guys were really doing a good job figuring that out, and that included the maturity of the team out there. All of you were figuring that out in that first quarter. Am I correct?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, but that goes to that goes with Chris Thigpen, our offense coordinator, Alan Collis, and Noah O'Neill. And I'm involved with those scripts and things a lot. But Chris will script his first 15 or so, and he'll have a first script, a second script, a third script, and depending on a lot of times how you warm up and what you see as they warm up, and we scout pregame. I'm probably telling people things I shouldn't tell them, but we have scouts during pregame that are in the box that are scouting their people as they warm up, and we're looking to see what they're doing and who's tired and who's not and who's injured and who's not, what they're lined up in, what they're looking at. And so then we go back in, at 7, and we look at our scripts and say, okay, we think this, 17 is going to be here, 48 is going to be here. They look like they've moved 32 into here, so maybe we ought to go with script 2. Try to get formations to our sideline, get on our hash, because we get a much better look at it. That's just a little intricacies of calling offensive plays. You get them close to you, get the defense close to you, so you can get a really good look. Got guys looking from the top. I usually stay at the back. Chris is kind of in the middle, and so we have two guys up top, and I'm looking from the back, and then Chris is in the middle calling the plays. And yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting little dance that goes through. I mean, the play's dead. Then you get first and 10. Then you get your personnel. Then you get hash, and then you call the play. So there's a lot of thing that goes into it.
Coach, we talked about the stuff that you guys are able to do well, which is adapt and kind of play your own game depending on how the ball is bouncing that day. Mm-hmm. How do you think you guys can do better coming out of the gate?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that just ask my mother. She'll tell you straight out. Chad, you're not very good in the first quarter.
That came straight from Mom.
Yeah,
Write that down.
And that and she's right. I think that this year has been pretty tough because there's not been so much routine. And, when you go from a 2-week layoff and then you go to playing on a Saturday and then you jump right back into Friday and then you're off another 2 weeks and then you jump back into a Saturday, or you traveling, things like that.
And you get snow days.
You get snow days. We've had, I was talking to the paper, Georgia High School Daily, between COVID, hurricanes, and snow days. Now, we've had about everything you can have in a season. But one of the things is a lot of our penalties, if you watch offensively early, they're stupid penalties. There's no doubt about them. I mean, we have guys that are very aggressive, that are laying bodies out when they shouldn't be, when they should be pulling up, and I don't ever promote that at all. But also you don't want to take the fight and the fear out of them to turn loose and play. Obviously, I address the penalties, and we want to play inside the rules. But with Case and Owensby and Reese and those guys like that, they're going to do something crazy every now and then. They want to hit somebody, and you want to keep that fire and that tiger in them. And we've been slow out of the gate a couple of times, but it's not how you start always. It's mostly how you finish. So I've been proud of how we finished throughout the year.
Case and Owensby, you mentioned him. What a game he had. He had 12 tackles, had a big interception. They got a lot of momentum towards our way. I want to give it Micah O'Neal, had a big game, 9 tackles. Micah also got an offer today from another college. So
Micah also got his helmet ripped off.
Micah did. The referees did not call that. We're not.
I have the film on that. I have a close up on it. I'm just telling you, I got that clip.
But a very mature decision by Micah, who knew that we had more to go.
Yeah, we'll leave it alone. Leave it alone. But I got the clip on that if it's ever needed.
But you're right. Micah could have got really upset. He backed off. Hey, it's 4th down. We're about to get the football back to our offense and ice this game, and that's what we did. So You're right, though. That was a very smart decision by Micah. Me personally, I've been around Fannin County football a long time. That was the most memorable football game that I've been a part of and that I've seen in Blue Ridge. I think it was that special. I don't think I've ever heard the crowd roar as loud as it did when Luke went down the sidelines. I don't think the crowd was ever cheering as loud as they have after we won the game. It was special, and what I really think is special about this is this football team is bringing this town together during a time where it's 2020. There's not a lot of positives that are happening around Blue Ridge right now. But this football team is bringing our community together, and it's really something special.
It's a great team, Coach. I want to say this. I want to give a shout out because there was 2 very good teams on the field.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to say this. I mean, Rebel fans out there being on the sideline for years and watching good football teams. Pace Academy is a good football team. Very good football team. And we talked about this last week. There was basically 2 1s on the field, and for anybody that thinks, well, you played a 4, and that's a very good football team. And one more thing I keep going back to this, but I have been on the sideline and just sense the air come out of the sideline. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just you could feel an up, and then all of a sudden the air come out. That didn't happen on your sideline. It didn't in the first half. And then when immediately they came out very early in that 3rd quarter and went up 2 touchdowns, that was when you could a lot of times feel the air come out of a sideline. It never happened for those guys. Mm-hmm. That I'm going to give you. I never seen one of them where the air came out of them that they weren't ready to go back in. Mm-hmm. And that's a testament to the entire staff and those young men.
Yeah, and I don't know how long we are to break, but it's all about building that excitement that we talked about 3 years ago, taking the job. Excitement, encouragement, praise, the ability to not drop your head, that we're going to snap it again, and that we're confident in the way that we prepare, And first I prepare, and then I have faith, and then we just play the game, and we try to keep it really businesslike. And this group's now next year it's probably going to be completely different, a different style of kid, not nearly as mature, not nearly as game mature. I mean, you got to remember this senior class has played in the playoffs in AAA, Calhoun, Cedar Grove, and they've played a lot of football games. Mm-hmm. Luke and Mike, and they're 33, 34 games in. I don't know how many, but that helps a lot.
No doubt.
With
I think she was giving us a.
All right, well, we will stick around. We'll go to commercial for part 2 of Rebel Wrap Up.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature, memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Welcome back to Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Tim Tao. I'd like to thank Circuit World for sponsoring the show tonight. You can catch this episode of Rebel Wrap Up as well as other episodes of Rebel Wrap Up live on demand at fyntv.com. And be sure to check out Team FYN Sports on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Team FYN Sports is very active on those. We're going to preview the Heard County Braves. Heard County is traveling to Blue Ridge Friday night at 7:30. Heard County's 8-4 on the year. Very, very good football team. They were the second team out of Region 5, 2A. They defeated South Atlanta, defeated Pepperell, defeated Manchester and Darlington. 2 losses right here to 4A schools in Cedartown and Central Carrollton. Lost to Temple in overtime. They beat a good Haralson County team and a good Bremen team. And then they lost their last regular season game against Callaway and then defeated Union County last week in the first round of the playoffs. So a very good football team. Heard County is an established program. Just 2 years ago in 2018, 3 years ago, the Braves won the state championship. So they've got some players on their team that have been in the big game. The atmosphere is not going to faze these guys. They're going to be excited to play, and they're led by head coach Tim Barron and a very good football team coach. So just talk about our opponent on Friday night, what we're going to see, and it should be a fun matchup.
I think the question I've been asked most this week is how, if I had it, I would be a millionaire. How's Heard County? At this point in time, there's 16 teams left. There's nobody bad.
No.
You're just not going to slip through round 1 and get to 16 without being a pretty good football team unless you just get an amazing draw. So they're very good, very well coached. Their offensive line, their defensive line are tremendously talented. They're big. They're strong. You can tell that they're a perennial GACA weightlifting competition squad. So they do a tremendous job up front. And then they're athletic in the back. They're athletic at receiver. They're athletic in the backfield. They like to run the ball downhill behind those big bodies. Play man coverage in the secondary because they can run. And so it's going to be a definite challenge. We're outweighed. There's no question on the offensive and defensive front. But we give folks a little bit different wrinkles. We're going to try not to block them one-on-one. We're going to try to create double teams and down block and reach and move bodies around. And then defensively, we can't sit in there in our regular 3-man 3-3 stack and let them get beads on us and move us. We got to move around a little bit, change our fronts, keep them guessing where we're going to be, and it's just going to turn into execution, great effort. It's going to be a great football game, and it's going to be really mental for all of us, especially myself and our coordinators, and then we've got to our kids have to be really smart and really prepared.
Conditioning coach, I always say that at this point in the season, when a team has to play 4 quarters, you get some games throughout the season. You don't. Your first team doesn't have to play 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. You're at the point now, just like last week. This team is playing 4 quarters Friday night, just like last week. And I say it's at this point where you see preseason conditioning. Mm-hmm. You see the conditioning going into the season that these guys are ready and they have the endurance to play 4 quarters. What are you guys talking about this week about that? That hey guys, this is a 4-quarter game. It's like last week. You will play to the buzzer at the end of this thing.
Right, no doubt. Every game that we'll play from here on out is a 48-minute game, and as I said today at practice, there are no do-overs at this point. You can stop and practice and you can redo, and then during the season, even after a game that you didn't necessarily play and maybe you lost that football game, you got the next week to hold on to. There's no do-overs in this game. if there's pain, if you feel like you're tired, if you feel there's nothing else. Everything you've got to lay it all out there if you have any type of pride or guts about you whatsoever, and you teach that starting in June and July and August, and then you reap the benefits come December, which is amazing. Fannin County will play football in December. So our kids continue to do a great job in the weight room, and we continue to condition at practice. Our drill work is designed for that, like I said earlier. So when we go to individual work, we're moving, and the periods are short, but we're game speed, try to up tempo all the time. So it is important. When that weight room separates a lot of people, which is just like them, prevents injuries, and so I think that's big. We're very fortunate right now that we're pretty healthy, and we've remained healthy through the year, and we got to continue that trend. Our bodies have been knock on wood, our bodies being really conditioned to the pounding and to the cardio demands that it takes to play for 48 minutes.
Definitely excited about the game. 7:30 kickoff. It's going to be a good game, and like Coach has said, Heard County, a very established program. Coach Tim Barron is their coach. He's in his 23rd season at Heard County. He's won 163 games there. So they're a very good football program, and we need a big crowd. We need the crowd to be loud on third down. I want you to talk about the crowd though on Saturday night and how big of an impact it can have in the game. Because I believe it had an impact in the game.
It has a huge impact on any game. It has an impact on me.
Yeah.
In my energy and my excitement, but more than that, it has a gigantic impact on our kids. When you're playing in a stadium that's rocking and the music is loud and the lights are flashing and the people are on their feet, it's just kind of amazing to be in that moment and to get excited. I was thinking earlier, I'm getting older, BKP, and somebody asked me, I forget who it was that asked me, said, it was Chris Mathis, was talking about my energy on the sideline and things like that. How do you sustain that? And it's the crowd, man. It's the crowd. It's the players. Now I pay for it the next day. I pay for it for like 3 days. I'm still sore, still hurting. But I mean, when you get it, anything that you do in this life that you put your guts into and your heart and your soul and your mind, if you can't get excited about it and you can't have a lot of energy and you can't see these kids being successful and not just absolutely be overjoyed, I think you got to find. If it ever gets that way for me, I got to find something else to do.
Well, I know you keep pumped up, Coach, and don't take this wrong, okay? But I got to give the shout out to the Fannin County Mamas.
Oh yeah.
All right, because I'm going to tell you something. You went down 2 touchdowns. I'm on the sideline, and I know they could hear it to the 50-yard line. And I heard 2 Fannin County Mamas yell, "Play like you want this."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, boys, you need to play. It was awesome. The crowd.
One of us go Shim's mom.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. It was great. I'm not making laugh. I was like, all of a sudden, it was like you could hear it echo across that field. Play like you want this, boys. I was like, nothing like Fannin County Mamas coming out and letting them know. But the crowd was great. The home crowd was great.
Well, it's just amazing. Like any atmosphere. I mean, you go to the University of Georgia, you got 93,000 people that calling your name and cheering, and it's electric. I wish that people could experience coming out of that tunnel with those boys. It's you get my hair stands up. I get chills all over myself just thinking about when that helmet opens and you see that crowd for the first time, and man, just what an exciting time. And like I said, if it ever gets any less exciting or special for me, then that's probably time for me to go to Home Depot probably. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I don't either.
It's in me. That's all I know.
I don't either. What do you think about the entrance? Do you like the entrance Friday night?
I love the entrance, but she's giving the wrap up, so I want to say something. Coach, let me say this to you. I heard last week multiple times, and we're not being disrespectful. I've already said Pace Academy, a good football team. But I think I heard several times last week that the head coach played for the New England Patriots. Well, our head coach played for the Fannin Rebels. This is the cards we've been dealt, and we're very happy with them, okay?
We're stuck.
How about that, Coach? You all right?
Yeah,
All
Chris
right.
Slade. Chris Slade.
He's a great guy. It was
wonderful
good.
Guy.
But
He's a class act. Terrence Edwards from the University of Georgia's All-American there, brother Robert. He also coaches. They were just a class act in every way. And they're a good football team. Shame somebody had to lose that one.
Yeah,
but I sure am glad that we came out on top, and we're going to try to get
a good
another
sportsmanship. I'm glad you brought that up because on both sides
Oh,
of
yeah.
the ball, it did go down the fourth quarter. They were there to win. You guys were there to win. There was a couple moments, but very few. All the guys, they just played good football. Would you
No,
agree?
it was a great football game, both sides. And, we've said 3 times it was a shame both teams had to lose this game. I said as soon as we started fourth quarter to my dad up in the press box, it's a shame that one team has to lose this game.
Well, you also lose. You've also lost one of the better teams in AA football.
Yes.
And I don't know how it all worked out, how it shook. How the bracket shook. But I tell you, Pace is a great football team. They deserve to be playing in the next round. And
They're one of the top 8 teams in the state.
There's no doubt about it.
100%.
And I hope that they, at some point, people understand that.
Friday night, 7:30, Rebel Nation. You need to be there. Support these boys. Huge game. Thank you for Circuit World for hosting the show, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
That's right.
Hey, folks, before we leave, just hang tight. After these commercials, Coach's going to take off, go home. Well, he's going back to work. We got to get him back to work, okay?
That's right.
He doesn't stop working till Friday night. But we're going to take a brief break, so don't go anywhere. And then Jake, Tim, and I, we're going to talk about some other high school matchups that are going on this Friday night. Break this game down a little more on playbook. You cool with that?
Sounds great.
Good with that?
Y'all take it easy on me now.
We will. We need you out of here for that.
Yeah, I know.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature, memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Hey everybody, welcome to the playbook. We just transitioned over to the playbook. We just had Rebel head coach Chad Cheatham on with us. I'm joined with me as always by Tim Tao, and the boss man's here today with us, BKP. BKP, a heck of a game we got to see Friday night.
I couldn't stay away. In fact, I don't want you to do it right now because I want to spare the folks at home. But you got that mean third down yell from the press box. Tim is up in the press box, and third down. What are you getting out of that? About 30 good seconds.
Yeah. There was I think the last the actual play where Morris ripped Mike O'Neill's helmet off. That was the play where it was probably 30 seconds. BKP. You're
were
right.
up in the press box watching from up top. Jake and I were on the sideline. Jake went up into the crowd, talked to some people there. I have not. It's been several years since I've actually been on the sideline and watched as good a football game as that. We talked about it, and I'm going to tell you, that 21-20 bothered me because as many years as I've been watching, when Pace Academy was up 21 and they blocked our extra point, and that scoreboard was lit up 21-20. I was like, and I was talking to Jerry Daves. I'll call him out on here. Jerry and I walked down the sideline. What is his photography company?
All-Star Sports.
Yeah,
Photography.
Jerry's a great guy. And we walk from one end to the other talking about everything. But Jerry and I both looked at like that one. You just don't like to leave that hanging up there. It could haunt you at the end.
Yeah.
And then Fannin gets in the next time and goes for two, and not a minute of not one moment that it wasn't exciting that game. So,
we mentioned it earlier on Rebel Wrap Up, but it was honestly the most exciting Fannin football game I've ever seen. And I've been around the program a lot since 2006. It was I've never heard the crowd that loud. I've just never seen a game like that. Like you said, 21-7 against Pace Academy, a team who won the state championship in 2015, a team that has sent players to the NFL. Most notably, Andrew Thomas is Georgia's left tackle from last year, 4th overall pick to the Giants. A team that sends players to the SEC constantly. This is just a team from Blue Ridge, a team of mountain boys, but they're hungry mountain boys.
I think it says a lot about Fannin's team because that's what I said in the first segment that we were doing with Rebel Wrap Up is I want to be clear that Pace Academy is a good football team that was on that field, and it says a lot about the Fannin Rebels. But I do want to say this, we were talking about highlights because I went down with the video camera and I asked Coach before the game. I said, "Look, I'm going to get tight in. I won't get in the way." I said, "I won't." I always ask Coach first what I can do. I said, "I want to get tight into the the timeouts, some stuff like that, so I can document some stuff." And he said, "Go for it." But what I found interesting, I went through all the clips, and it's really not a highlight kind of game. I mean, there's a couple big plays. I was impressed with that north-south run. And I could see in that second quarter where all of a sudden that front line said, "Follow me," and it was nonstop from there.
Yeah, Seth Reese, Jake Sands, Caleb Postel, great day on the ground for the Rebels. I want to give a shout out to the offensive line. I know we're talking about them, but Mason Bundy, Liberty commit for the Fannin County Rebels, Braden Foster, Chris Scott, Rico Arlianis, Dylan Collins, Mike O'Neill played some both ways on Friday night for the Rebels. The unsung hero of the football team, the offensive line.
Tim, you brought something up I wanted to touch on before we move on to some other games in the area. You talked about how credentialed these teams are that Fannin's been showing up and playing against every Friday night. I mean, there's been a high 4-star, 5-star, 3-star somewhere in these teams that Fannin's been playing against all year, pretty much. And I mean, we saw last week, as highly recruited as that team was, we're going to see a team with another 4-star linebacker in Chief Borders in Heard County this week. It's crazy. It's an anomaly that Fannin County is advancing as far as they are, and to be undefeated and there's nothing's coming in. Like everyone is flying under the radar on that team. You mentioned Bundy has his Liberty commit, but that's really the only thing that we're seeing.
But I think
next level.
I think they like flying under the radar. I think that's their mentality. You know, it took them 7 weeks to finally get ranked this year when they were undefeated. When all these other teams that were ranked, they were losing games, they still weren't ranked. But it's just they use that as motivation. We all know, all three of us know, Luke Holloway is going to be a college football quarterback. He don't have many offers right now, but it's just making him more hungry.
Boy, it took him 8 weeks to get his first.
Yeah,
8 weeks into his senior season.
I see what both of you are saying. I understand where you're coming from 100%. But then you're right. I mean, they're playing teams week after week, and it's just like I'll go back to Jerry. We were talking, and Jerry could tell you just like this. He's real good at it. Hey, this guy over here, he's already drafted. He's going D1, and this guy's going. And I see what you're saying exactly. I mean, they're playing every week against, the team that they're playing this week probably has 2 D1 commitments already, if not more, but at least 2. And I see what you're saying. So, I mean, not moving it along, but I'd like to hear, because I haven't had a chance to study the team that Fannin's playing this Friday night. And let the fans know. I mean,
yeah.
Coach said if he had $1 or something for every time somebody said, "Hey, what's this team look like?" But you guys have been researching this team. Tell the fans out there what we are up against Friday night. What you're seeing?
Yeah, your number 14, Chief Borders. His name's going to be called on defense. That's his main is a linebacker. He'll line up on the line. He'll line up an inside backer. He'll line up on the outside. Number 14, he's a Florida commit. It's no secret. He's a good football player. But just going back to kind of what we were saying, not to backtrack, but the name, the high profile team that doesn't scare this Fannin County team.
Mm-hmm.
These recruits, the Pace Academy, the Heard counties, obviously no disrespect to Fannin County, but Pace and Heard are way more established football programs than Fannin County is. But that doesn't scare these rebels. That doesn't mean nothing to them. That just makes them
touched on it.
That just makes them more hungry to want to get to that level. And boys, they're on their way.
Coach touched on it. The reason that they aren't is because they have these guys like Luke and that senior class that have played in those big moments before. I mean, I'm sure, was it sophomore year they went and played their first round playoff game
at Calhoun.
And I'm sure they walked in there and they were starstruck. And then they've made it to their senior year and
now it's just like, all right, we're back in the playoffs. This isn't new to us.
I will say this: I was really impressed. I've been on the sideline of a lot of football games, great football teams. And I've watched the air come out. I've watched the air come out of the sails, and it's just letting the air out. And I thought when they immediately went down 2 touchdowns, really quick in that third quarter, I was looking at the guys on the sideline like, can you feel the momentum change? Can you feel the air come out? It didn't happen for those guys, and that's what you're talking about is, hey, we got some big players coming Friday night. We got some big names. We got a good established program, but we're going to play football.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. They're going to play their game. They're going to play within themselves. They're not going to play good, fundamentally sound football. And Friday night's going to be special. It's going to be just as special as it was.
Anything else on what they're going to see Friday night?
We'll go to the last game that Heard County played against Union County. Union County, a team in our coverage area we cover a lot. We congratulate the Panthers on a good season. I mean, they were riddled with injuries all year.
Yeah,
that's kind of the reason their record looked the way it did. We saw Fannin and Union play a heck of a game when Union was fully healthy first game of the year.
Yeah, it was a great football game.
But Fannin was able to, second half of the ball game, come back and put a lot of points on this Heard defense. Union was able to come back in the second half of the football game and put a lot of points on the Braves defense.
Well, I think we've said it almost about every week here, every other week at least, but Brian Allison doesn't get enough credit for the job he's done at Union County.
We talk about that a lot.
We do, but he don't. He is a guy who does so much with not saying Union County doesn't have a lot of talent, but he does so much with the talent that he has. And we know Logan Helcher, the starting quarterback, he was out against Heard County. Hemphill came in, and Allison coached them up, and they played a good ball game. And Daniel, I know the running back's been battling injuries all year. He got hurt at the Fannin game too. But just a great job of Brian Allison and the Panthers. As
You know what? Every year he's going to postseason. He's going post every year, and I will say this: you're 100% right, because I know where you're going with this a little bit. Is geographically where Union is in a state. He doesn't have a lot of move-ins.
Yeah.
It's not like every year,
It's not like a Chief Borders is going to transfer in.
Right, exactly. He doesn't have that. And great young men up there, but Brian Allison takes what I call a true county football program, takes the best talent in that county, and turns something out year after year. So I give you that. But they're out, and that's the team that's coming up to play Fannin.
But we do have another team, a couple teams that in our coverage area that are moving on. Dawson County, they're moving on. They're going to be playing Region 8 champion Oconee. They're number 1 in AAA. Oconee is number 1, and that's who ranked by Georgia Public Broadcasting, ranked number 1 in AAA. That's who Dawson will be seeing. I mean, that's going to be they're number 22 in all of Georgia. Oconee is a heck of a football team, and Dawson is definitely going to have their hands full with a second round game in a team like that.
Who did Dawson play this past week?
Played at Daresville.
Yeah, Daresville.
They defeated Daresville. I know Oconee County, a pretty established program there in Walkersville, Georgia. Been kind of known for quarterbacks. Zach Mettenberger used to be the LSU quarterback. He attended Oconee County, and I believe Brad Johnson's son Max was the quarterback at Oconee County last year. He is now, ironically enough, I think at LSU as well. So I know they have a history of producing good quarterbacks right down there, just in the Athens area in Oconee County. So Sid Maxwell will definitely have his hands full. I know Dawson's had a little trouble this year. Defensively, they've been allowing more points than usual. I know that doesn't sit well with Coach Maxwell. They've been putting up points, but they're definitely going to have to rely on their defense to get some stops on Friday night.
Well, Oconee County may be ranked number 1 in the state for 3A there. Well, let me just say this. If anyone in the state could put a team on the field at this time of the year and make you play football for 4 quarters, that's Sid Maxwell.
And he will.
So Oconee, they may have the upper hand here on all the stats, number 1, and there may be some space right here with Dawson this year in their program, but I guarantee you Oconee and the coach down there is telling his team this week, we're going to see Sid Maxwell, and they're always ready to play football.
Well, let's talk about Dawson. They have put up 410 points this year. 410 points. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's a lot of points. They've allowed 304. They're going to have to get that down Friday night.
That's
also
a lot of points.
Yes.
But it's like Coach Cheatham said in our first segment tonight. When you get here, you're a good football team.
Absolutely.
If you're playing this week, you're playing a good football team.
Absolutely.
I know we don't have a lot of time left. I didn't mean to get off on that. Is there any other teams or anything else we want to highlight tonight?
Well, we'll talk about another 3A team, Cherokee Bluff. They've been in our coverage area a little bit. We've covered them a few games this year. They move on and they play Carver. Carver 6-4, I think, overall, thanks to 2 forfeits. But they're playing Cherokee Bluff is we talked about points for and points allowed. Cherokee Bluff has scored 430 points this year and only allowed 146.
Very good defense that Tommy Jones' guys have. Carver, the much more tested team, though, guys. They've played Buford. They've played Cherokee, which are 2 big schools. They were supposed to play Cedar Grove. That game got actually, I think they did play Cedar Grove. That game was a forfeit from Cedar Grove. They played an ineligible player. They played Westminster. They played Sandy Creek. They just got beat by GAC 35-20, which is very respectable. And they beat Hart County 32-21. So, Carver's got some losses, but the losses to Cherokee, which is a 7A school, Lovejoy, Buford, and GAC. Those are 4 pretty good football teams.
Yeah, I've watched GAC a couple times. In fact, I know we have some Fannin County Rebel fans out there that are glad that we no longer.
They don't like that word, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't bring it up.
I did. Sorry.
You're the one who brought it up.
I don't like that word.
Let me say one thing really quick on that. But Cherokee Bluff, is this season 3 for them?
It is.
Is
Yeah.
this season
Yeah.
3? Because first of all, I remember season 1, and Cherokee Bluff is over at Flowery Branch, and the way they split that, not to take up too much time, but the way they split that school up, 3 years ago when they started that program, they got an enormous amount of the young talent, great talent that was not going to get on the football field at the old school, but were going to get to play. And I said, I watched them the year 1. I watched them, and I said, this is not an expansion school. Don't get confused here. This is an A1 program,
No doubt.
ramped up just like that. So it says a lot in the third year of this school that they're in second round, and their coaching staff over there, they know these kind of games. What is the head coach's name over there?
Cherokee Bluff, Tommy Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Jones has been in this situation several times in the playoffs, and he knows this. He knows football this time of the year.
Absolutely.
The coach.
Another game we got to get to. White County lost. They lost to Rockmart in 7 AAA, so they're out. North Hall, however, did beat North Murray in a shootout, 36-28. You know what their reward is?
No.
GAC. They get to play GAC. They used to be region. They used to be region foes. So GAC switched to the Atlanta side region, where they belong. Hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, but that's where they belong. They don't belong up here playing the mountain schools. So
when their name's Greater Atlantic Christian.
So now North Hall matches up again with GAC in the playoffs. GAC's 10-0. North Hall's 8-4. North Hall got to travel to GAC. They're familiar with traveling to GAC. Coach Bishop run wing T offense. They want to control the clock, keep GAC off the field, play some defense. You never know, anything can happen.
Guys, I don't want to leave anything out, and I know we got to get a wrap. So is there something you had prepared that we want to make sure we cover before?
I just want to say I've got 7 all through 1A games that you if football fans need to keep an eye on. 7A, there's the 1, 2, and 3 teams playing good game. Grayson and Harrison, Colquitt and Walton, Roswell and Norcross. 6A, number 3 Westlake is playing number 5 Richmond Hill. 5A, number 4 Cartersville is playing St. Pius. Number 8 Calhoun is playing number 9 Clark Central. 4A.
That's going to be a really good game.
4A, Marist is playing Flowery Branch. We just talked about the split between Cherokee Bluff, Flowery Branch. 3A, Dawson, Cherokee Bluff. We talked about them. 2A, not counting Fannin County, Callaway and Lovett.
Huge game.
Number 6 and number 5
on the other side. And Raven County is playing Model. With all due respect to Model, I think they may be in trouble Friday night. But a great season for Model in Fannin County's region. A team coached by Jeff Honeycutt, done a great job all year.
1A Public, Metter and Mitchell County. 1A Private, Prince Avenue Christian's playing Darlington. So just a quick rundown all the way through all of our classifications. Hopefully we'll be back here next week with the Rebel wrap-up before the playbook. Anything you guys want to add?
There's nothing better than high school football playoffs. You got to love it. I love it. It's a great time of the year. Hope to be back next week.
Folks, bundle up. Don't complain now. Bundle up. It might be a little chilly, but get over here Friday night, kickoff 7:30, high school football, round 2. Fannin County Rebels will host the Herd, what's their name?
County Braves.
And
they do the tomahawk chop.
And they will host Friday night. Let's fill the stands. We heard from Coach Cheatham how much that means to the team and them getting pumped up. It's the 12th man up there, and Tim will be up there yelling his third down that takes about 30 seconds. You'll know it's him immediately. But, it's an exciting time, high school football Friday night. Want to make sure you guys come out. Jake and I will be on the sideline again last week before the game on Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We did a pregame show. We talked about the matchup. We showed some pictures. Then at halftime, we did a halftime show on Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We did a good 8-9 minutes. What was going on, what we expect coming out in the second half. So we'll be doing that again. And some video and keeping up with the game. I don't have anything else. Just can't wait for Friday night.
Go Rebels.
We'll see you Friday.